What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. And one new image coming officially from Disney, as posted on their website, for Thor: Love and Thunder has thrown a ton of excitement into the upcoming Marvel movie, which is next in line for a huge release on the big screen. Now, I know a lot of people are excited for Thor: Love and Thunder because he was an original Avenger, he being Thor, Natalie Portman's Jane Foster. These characters have been in the MCU for a very long time. And of course, that is always something that generates a little bit more excitement when we have some OG characters in a MCU where many of the original Avengers aren't around anymore. Either they've moved on to different things or they've passed on, sacrificing themselves. These are all details that should get us very excited. But on top of that, there is some connecting points in Thor: Love and Thunder, and that's something we're going to talk about specifically, the developments that this movie is going to possess for the future of Phase 4, Phase 5, the future of the MCU, even Moon Knight and Black Panther connections. That's what we're going to be talking about today, a new image that has seemingly given us the first look at Bast in Thor: Love and Thunder. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our daily uploads. Also, you can check me out on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. The links to these are also in the description down below. So here's the image. Let's check out this picture that was just released. Obviously, the focus here is the mighty Thor, Jane Foster, and Valkyrie, who are sitting in thrones or in this theater seating. They got some grapes next to them. It's a really cool look. However, that isn't the coolest thing in this image. If you look down on the bottom right hand side, we see somebody who is dressed in what appears to be traditional Wakanda clothing. Now, the simplest thought here is, oh, well, they're in Wakanda. That's obvious. Now we figured it out. However, I don't think that's what's going on. I think from the trailer, we can tell that they're actually at Mount Olympus, which is where Zeus is going to be, and the other Greek gods, we'll call them, who will be having this tournament, and you can see all the seating around. Whatever activity, sporting event, celebration is going on, this is mighty Thor and Valkyrie seated here with somebody from Wakanda in front of them, present, representing their kingdom. Now, the assumption is that the majority of the people at this celebration, at this event, will be individuals of a higher power and status. What we're calling gods, maybe not the god or as powerful as gods, as it is said by Loki that they're presumed to be gods. But you get the point. Very, very powerful beings. You have Valkyrie, who is king of Asgard. You have Thor, who is, of course, the mighty Thor. And Jane now, who's present because she has these powers and the title of the mighty Thor, like she has in the comics. Now let's go back to talking about who this character is in front of them. Recently, it was rumored by the Cosmic Circus that Akosia Sabet would be playing Bast in Thor: Love and Thunder. Well, it seems like that's who is in front of us here, and perhaps this is Bast's avatar, which now is connecting Black Panther and the Moon Knight series to Thor: Love and Thunder. So there are a lot of moving parts here. I'm going to do my best to explain it as simply as possible so that in case you haven't seen Moon Knight or didn't catch the Bast references there, or you don't necessarily understand who Bast is, we're going to be talking about all of that and why it is such a huge reveal and important for Thor: Love and Thunder. For starters, let's talk about Moon Knight. In Moon Knight, we learned something very specific, that there is a group of gods who have avatars and use those avatars to observe, unless of course you're Khonshu, in which case you'll be using your avatar to inflict your justice and vengeance all over the earth and killing a ton of people. That's a cool whole Khonshu story, and that was a big part of what Moon Knight was about. But during the council where we met a lot of these avatars, we saw several different statues. We saw several different gods who were bound up, and we got an idea that there was a big organization here. Well, one of the statues inside the Pyramid of Giza where this council happened was the statue of Bast. Now, who is Bast? Well, in Black Panther, we were introduced to Bast as the character that brought the spirit of Black Panther to the world. There was a mighty warrior who needed help, and Bast appeared and gave upon them the power of the Black Panther. And that's the origin story of how the Black Panther came to be and how Wakanda would eventually rise up to become the society it is in modern day MCU. So that's just a really quick recap of who is Bast and what's her relevance in Wakanda, what's her relevance in Moon Knight. And why would she need to appear in Thor Love and Thunder? Well, she's a god, and Thor Love and Thunder is about Gorr the God Butcher. Moon Knight talked about gods and the importance of these gods who have avatars. And we're going to Mount Olympus, where we're going to be meeting Zeus, who is in Greek mythology the god of all of the gods and in charge of the different things that are happening around all of these different realms. So the inclusion of Bast shows that this is a council potentially where all of these different gods are meeting, and either, like I mentioned, a celebration, some type of sporting event, or maybe even some type of council, which in the comics would be known as the Parliament of Pathians. This would actually be a really nice touch if they decided to include this, and if you're asking, well, what is the Parliament of Pathians? In specific, it is an intergovernmental organization where gods from across the Marvel Universe conjugate. It is where they discuss the matter of the topics including peace, moderation of the realms, and everything else that's going on. It's essentially a big interpolitical god meeting chamber where they discuss what's happening, what are the needs, what are the conflicts, and how can they get past it all so that they can continue to reside harmoniously. Because if anything we know through history, god wars don't end well for the people watching. Now, we don't have a lot of details about the timeline. When does this take place? Why are Thor and company there? What is happening? Is Thor just there out of requirement to be a part of this entire conjugation? Or is he there to inquire about Gorr the God Butcher? It's possible, if this is earlier on in the film, that we will be finding out that a few gods didn't show up for the council. A few gods aren't present. And maybe people will start to ask why. Maybe it's because Gorr the God Butcher will have murdered them already, and this is going to start leading into the big story for Thor Love and Thunder. How they are all under attack, and how there is a new dangerous weapon and an individual wielding the weapon with the desire to kill gods. Which of course is Christian Bale's Gorr the God Butcher. But the inclusion of Bast here is just super exciting. We know the MCU is going to start folding over on itself, and what I mean by that is all of these individual projects that have been setting the seeds, putting in roots, starting up a new story post-Infinity War, have now the potential to build into each other to create something epic. I know a lot of people are frustrated with Marvel, thinking they're going too slow or that the story isn't as connected as it used to be, but I do truly believe that we're in store for something massive, and we're starting to see small connecting points between Moon Knight, Black Panther, Thor Love and Thunder. We've seen a ton of connecting points come through Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, with No Way Home, with WandaVision, with Loki, and of course we have our ground-based Avengers like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, the Young Avengers, all of these things that will come to fruition and eventually, guys, are going to connect into something very big and very insane. But let me know what you guys think about this news in the comment section down below. I think one of the most exciting parts of just knowing that Bast will be involved is getting a further explanation of Moon Knight and avatars, and of course, seeing that the Black Panther ripple is starting to kind of spread, and that we can start getting more information for that movie as well, since that movie has had a lot of complications, and I know a lot of people are worried about that as well. But let me know what you guys thought about this in the comment section down below. Personally, I do believe what we're seeing here is the avatar of Bast. I think the rumors are true, and I think there's a lot of importance to the inclusion of all of these gods and very big relevance to them in the MCU as we continue down all of the new projects that will be coming out. Thank you guys so much for watching to the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or interesting, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.